Hey there, thanks for checking my channel, Code Rush, and for joining me as I document the process of learning to code. Today I will follow the Odin project instructions to set up Git on my virtual machine. So here I am at the setting up Git lesson. And from the beginning I am told that Git is a very popular version control system, and I will become very familiar with this piece of software throughout the Odin project. So I shouldn't worry too much about understanding it at this point. They also provide a link here for Git. Let's see where it takes me. And of course it takes me to the Git page where I can find more about it. So Git is a free and open source distributed version control system designed to handle everything from small to very large projects with speed and efficiency. Can also see links for documentation, downloads, community. And here I have a button to download Git for Linux, but I won't do that now because I'm gonna follow the Odin project steps. So Git is a version control system, and I will have to download it and install it on my PC, or in this case on my virtual machine. Let's go back to Odin project. Okay, now we can find more about what GitHub is. GitHub is a service that allows you to upload, host, and manage your code using Git with a nice web interface. And again, they provide a link for GitHub also. The world's leading AI-powered developer platform. So GitHub is a platform, and I can already notice the two buttons, sign in and sign up. So in order to use GitHub, I will have to create an account. Let's go back to the lesson. And they continue by saying that even though GitHub and Git sound like they could be the same thing, they are not the same thing or even created by the same company. Okay, this is very important. We need to understand this and not confuse Git and GitHub even if they have similar names. Git is a version control system, something that I will download and install on my PC, and GitHub is a platform where I have to sign up in order to upload, host, and manage my code using Git. So once again, Git and GitHub are not the same thing, but they do work together. GitHub as a platform will host the code I'm managing with Git. Okay, now that is crystal clear, I can install Git. Let's make the browser a bit smaller. And they say to click on the operating system I have chosen, which is Linux, because I'm inside my virtual machine. I'm gonna open the terminal by pressing at the same time Ctrl-Alt-D. And the first thing I have to do is to update the system by running these commands in the terminal. I'm gonna copy-paste in the terminal these two commands. I have to write my password now. Let's copy the second line, which will upgrade it. The first one apparently updated Linux system, and now I will upgrade it. Do you want to continue? Yes, I'll press Y. Okay, the first step is done. And the second step will be to install Git. They say here you likely have Git installed already, but to make sure that we have the most up-to-date version of Git, run the following commands. And here I have some more commands which I'm gonna copy-paste them in the terminal. Here I'm asked to press enter to continue or Ctrl-C to cancel. I will press enter. Now I'm gonna copy and paste the second line. Copy the last command. Okay, and I'm done with the second step, which is to install Git, or at least update it, I guess. Let's verify the version. And I have the Git version 2.43. Here they say if the version number is less than 2.28, which is not in my case, to follow again the instructions. My version is higher than 2.28, so I can go to the next step. I'm gonna skip the installation for macOS and Chrome OS. Now I just need to configure Git and GitHub, and the first thing is to create an account on GitHub. During the account setup, it will ask you for an email address. This needs to be a real email and will be used by default to identify your contributions. Okay. If you are privacy conscious or just don't want your email address to be publicly available, make sure you tick the following two boxes on the email setting page after you have signed in. Okay, let me first create the account, and I'm gonna go back to this after I have it. Making a GitHub account is super easy because they ask for the basics: an email address, a password, a username, and to verify if you're human. Make sure you have the mail you're signing in with open because they will send a verification code to it. And now you can start creating the account by clicking on the sign up button. Enter your email address, create a password, enter a username. I put Codrașlu because Codraș was unavailable. Check if you want to receive mails from them with occasional product updates and announcements. I left it unchecked. Solve the given puzzle to verify if you're human. If you pass this, click Create Account. Now you'll be asked to enter the code they sent to your email. The next steps are meant to personalize your account. You can check the options they give there, or you can click Continue to skip. Now you can choose what plan you want for your account, a free or a paid one. I went for the free one. And that's it. The account on GitHub is created. Okay, and now that I have the GitHub account created, let's go back to the Odin project instructions to see again what they are saying about the email settings page. If you are privacy conscious or just don't want your email address to be publicly available, make sure you tick the following two boxes on the email settings page after you have signed in. Okay, here I have the example. I'm gonna click the link for the email settings page. Okay. The first one is already checked here, keep my email address private. But the second needs to be checked to block command line pushes that expose my email. Okay, I'm gonna check the second box. And now it's exactly as in their picture. Okay, let's see what else. Having these two options enabled will prevent you accidentally exposing your personal email address when working with Git and GitHub. You may also notice an email address under the Keep My Email Address is Private option. This is your private GitHub email address. If you plan to use this, make note of it now, as you will need it when setting up Git in the next step. Okay, so here is the Keep My Email Address is Private option. And they say here we'll remove your public profile email and use, okay, and this is an example. So this is my new email address according to GitHub in order to keep my email private. What I find under the Keep My Email Address is Private option is what I will use as an email address from now on. Okay. Git is already installed. I know the version and now I have to set it up. For Git to work properly, we need to let it know who we are so that it can link a local Git user, you, to GitHub, the platform where I've just created an account. When working on a team, this allows people to see what you have committed and who committed each line of code. Okay. The commands below will configure Git. Be sure to enter your own information inside the codes, but include the quotation marks. I'm gonna return to my terminal and I'm gonna copy paste the entire line here and replace what's in the codes with my personal info. Okay, first they ask for my name and I've created the account on the username code rush loop. Now I have to close the codes, press enter. And now the second option regards my email account, but because I've checked the box here at the key my email address is private, or at least it was checked already, my new email address will be the one that's in this section, the one that starts with the number. So I'm gonna first copy the line that's here, exactly as it is. I'm gonna paste it in my terminal. Delete again the example that's in the codes. Go to GitHub at the keep my email address is private section. Copy what I find there as being my new email address. Return to the terminal, paste it, and close the codes. Okay, and they already say here if you opted to use the private GitHub email address, the second command will look something like this. But we already knew from here. If you plan to use this, make note of it now, as you will need it when setting up Git in the next step. Okay, what else? GitHub recently changed the default branch on new repositories from master to main. Change the default branch for Git using this command. Again, I'm gonna just copy paste it. So this command changes the default branch from master to main. Okay. To enable colorful output with Git, type this. Now I've enabled the output with Git to be colorful. You'll also likely want to set your default branch reconciliation behavior to merging. You'll learn what all those terms mean later in the curriculum. But for now, just know that we suggest running the below command as part of the Git setup process when doing the Odin project. Okay, so more configuration here. And this line will set my default branch reconciliation behavior to merging. Okay, what else? To verify that things are working properly, enter these commands and verify whether the output matches your name and email address. I'm gonna use just the first one. Let's see. Okay, and it shows code rush loop, which is the name I've chosen when I created the account on GitHub. There's something more for the macOS users, but I'm gonna skip this. Okay, now I have to create an SSH key. And they say that an SSH key is a cryptographically secure identifier. It's like a really long password, used to identify your machine. GitHub uses SSH keys to allow you to upload to your repository without having to type in your username and password every time. So the SSH key will give me easier access to the GitHub account. Okay, first we need to see if you have an ED25519 algorithm SSH key already installed. Type this into the terminal and check the output with the information below. Let's check if I have that algorithm SSH key installed already. Okay, if a message appears in the console containing the text no such file or directory, yeah, that's my case, then you do not have an ED25519 SSH key. I have the message, so I will need now to create a new SSH key. Copy paste the command. I will have here to introduce my email address. Paste it and close the quotes. Okay, and now they say enter file in which to save the key. When it prompts you for a location to save the generated key, just push enter. Enter. Next, it will ask you for a password. Enter one if you wish, but it's not required. I choose no password, and so I will press enter. Enter same passphrase again. I'll again press enter. Okay. Let's see what else. Link your SSH key with GitHub. Okay, my SSH key has been generated. Okay, and now I will have to link my SSH key with GitHub in order for my GitHub account to recognize my machine. Okay. And also, so I can push my code without typing in a password every time. First, I'll have to navigate where GitHub receives the SSH key. I'll have to log into my GitHub account. I'm already logged in. And to click on my profile picture in the top right corner. Then click on Settings in the drop-down menu. I'm gonna make the browser big again. Okay, so again, log into GitHub. I'm already inside my account and click on your profile picture in the top right corner. Then click on Settings in the drop-down menu. Okay, so here is my profile picture, but they say to click on this one on the top right and to go to Settings. Okay, let's see what else. Next, on the left-hand side, click SSH and GPG keys. Then click on the green button in the top right corner that says New SSH key. Okay, let's do this now. Okay, SSH and GPG keys. New SSH key. Because this is what I've generated. Okay. I've clicked on the green button in the top right corner that says New SSH key. Done that. Name your key something that is descriptive enough for you to remember where it came from. Leave this window open while you do the next steps. Okay, and I think I'm gonna name my key virtual machine key, since it comes from my virtual machine. Okay, so virtual machine key is the name, the title I chose for the SSH key. Okay, so now you need to copy your public SSH key. To do this, we're going to use a command called cat to read the file to the console. Okay. Now I'll copy the command. Gonna open the terminal and paste it here. And this command will give me the SSH key in a manner that I can paste it in the add new SSH key box there on the GitHub account. This is my SSH key. Okay, so what's next? Highlight and copy the output, which starts with OK and ends with your email address. Okay, I'm gonna copy the entire generated key here. And now I have to go back to GitHub and paste the key I've copied into the key field. Keep the key type as authentication key and then click Add SSH key. Okay, so keep the key type as authentication key. The key type is already set with authentication key. They instruct me to let it like this. Now I'm gonna paste the SSH key I've copied from the terminal. Okay, and I'm gonna erase the last space. Okay, I'm not sure if this will change anything, but space counts, I guess. I think I've checked everything on this page, and now I'm gonna press the Add SSH key button. And I can already see my SSH key called virtual machine key. Add it as authentication key. And now apparently I can add more. So I can add more keys in this section, and I can also apparently delete the one I've created. Let's see what else I need to do here. You're done. You've successfully added your SSH key. Okay, great. That's great news. So I believe now my machine and my GitHub account are connected. And next I will have to test my key. Follow the directions in this article from GitHub to verify your SSH connection. Don't forget to omit the $sign when you copy and paste the code. You should see this response in your terminal. Hi username, you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. Don't let GitHub's lack of providing shell access trouble you. If you see this message, you've successfully added your SSH key and you can move on. Okay, if the output doesn't correctly match, then try going through these steps again. Okay, no, I won't go back to the steps. I think I'm done here. Let's see. And now I'm gonna click on the link to verify my SSH key. So, testing your SSH connection. After you've set up your SSH key and added it to your account on GitHub, you can test your connection. So the first step is to open the terminal. And I have to enter the following, but without copying the $sign here, because it's already in my terminal. I need to type SSH space dash capitalized T git at github.com. Okay, let's see if everything is okay, and enter. And here's the message: hi Code Rush Loop, you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. Let's go back to the Odin page. Okay, you should see this response in your terminal. Hi username, you've successfully authenticated, but GitHub does not provide shell access. Let's open the terminal again. And yeah, this is the message I have in the terminal. So if you see this message, you've successfully added your SSH key and you can move on. Yay! Okay, what are they saying more here? Let us know how it went. You've completed the basic installation section. Good job! I finally finished installing my virtual environment. Setting up Git was the last step in doing so. Wasn't that bad as I expected, to be honest. The Odin project really has great instructions. Thanks for watching the video, and if you want, you can let me know in the comments how setting up Git was for you.